Hello, I am so excited you're here. There is so much I have to talk to you about. There is a lot of conversation going on around the connection between education and work. And of course, that's kind of my thing. So I'm really glad to talk to you about it. So there's actually going to be 4 things that we're going to talk about that are impacting the idea of education and its relatedness to work. And it's going to probably boggle your mind a little bit because there is some reframing or redefining that we're going to have to do. And honestly, it's about time. So the first thing we want to talk about that's influencing education is the definition of education. Education for a long time had the same definition, the same expectation, which was it's a formality. It's something that has to be institutional, and it's something that has to be in order. So only when I do basic math can I get to geometry. Well, obviously, some of that is super true. But what we're finding out about just the way that the human brain works and the way that the world around us works is that we need to be more flexible, agile, nimble, all of those words apply in terms of how we are receiving new information. So there's this reframing, redefinition of education now as knowledge. Knowledge can be something that you get for free. You watch this content, you probably didn't pay for it. And or you're trying to get in touch with an expert and pay for their time so that you can absorb some of their expertise and knowledge that they've gained over many years of you doing something, or really just because they're straight geniuses, right? There's so many new ways of developing our knowledge that education itself is being redefined. So I encourage you to look out for how to build my knowledge, or obviously go to your People Work app and complete your learner profile, or better yet, tell us what your goals are so that we can help you move into this new way of thinking about education. The second is, what's a teacher? The idea of a teacher in 2000 was very different from the idea of a teacher in 2020. So here is where vocabulary kind of plays a weird game on us. If you research teacher, professor, advisor, you kind of fall into these same or similar definitions of what we're expecting another human being to do for us. And a teacher is somebody who has a set curriculum that really executes that curriculum, teaches, delivers that curriculum so that their students can hear it, practice it, receive it. Now, the challenge that we're having with teachers in 2024 is that the expectation of what a teacher is in a public school, a private school, what we actually are looking for from professors is really all changed. I've actually been asked to become a fractional professor of sorts when it comes to the subject matter of HR and business and using technology and psychology. While I respect the invitation, I'm not really a good teacher. I'm not that patient. So what is it that we're expecting of teachers definitely has to be really very clear when we think about the sources or where we're going to get knowledge or who we're going to get knowledge from. So not only are we reframing what education is, we are also rethinking the expectations of what a teacher is and does. That brings me to the third point, which is, where are all the teachers? Well, if your expectation of a teacher in public school during or post-COVID, a lot of what we heard an expectation of a teacher was to be a babysitter. And I'm not sure how many people thought that they were going to become a teacher or wanted to become a teacher that thought, oh my gosh, I really want to be thought of as a babysitter to use, to occupy your child's day. The other side that we've heard about the challenges of being a teacher in 2024 is that the expectations of the parent and or the participant is just too complex around social sensitivities. So whether you can say something, pray in school, be able to read certain things, the conversations have become really less and less about expecting somebody to be able to share knowledge, develop genius, to develop thought processes. It's unfortunately become a very frustrating experience for those who did want to raise their hand, because they do love the thought of encouraging thought and developing the next generation of geniuses, when all that they do is get bogged down with a really devalued social expectation of their role in society. Yes, I'm about to geek out on you and get way too deep, but it is a serious question that you should ask yourself. If you have a teacher in your life, a professor, ask them how much time they get to spend on developing thoughts of their students versus administration, politics, policies, parental management, maybe just student management in terms of their sensitivities. We really want to help teachers, those that raise their hand, to encourage new thought processes in their students, to give them the space to do that. And if we do, then maybe we will address the fourth challenge that we are seeing in education today, is that there's a reduction of people that are raising their hands to become a teacher. In fact, let's talk about some big picture things that are happening in the education space and the knowledge building space, so we know what's different. Education in a formal sense, public schools, you go colleges, universities, those are now becoming so saturated that if I did want to become a teacher at one of them, I could become a teacher at all of them. So where is the differentiation if I am not able to exclusively choose which educator I would like to represent me as a teacher? On the flip side of that, knowledge building, on-demand learning systems, on-demand curriculum, on-demand colleges. You can learn anything, anywhere, at any time from the teacher of your choosing. And it really is a value-based exchange at that time. So am I going to get value from what I think I'm going to get from the education industry or education in a formal sense or a traditional teacher? Or am I going to be really more suited for a knowledge building experience where teachers have the space to encourage thought, get people to think beyond what they already know, and be able to learn in line with your work goals? And that's really the summary. Like the goal of the conversation is not just to educate you on education and how it is reframing or needs to reframe itself, but you as the individual, you have the golden opportunity to evaluate which side of the definition equation you want to be on and what parts you want to endorse. Because of course at People Work, we want you to be able to choose your realistic goal job that's available 6 months, 1 year from now, but also more importantly, get education in line with that, get knowledge building in line with that, so you make wise investments on who you are paying for this shared knowledge experience, and making sure that you get a return on investment by aligning that now new learning with a life goal, a work goal, or an earning goal. So it is something for you to think about. And remember, at People Work, we are here to help you evolve with work.